Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Alex, back again. This is my 200 to 275 plus Save Your Hyperburning training guide. As we all know, hyperburning is happening right now. And if you're at 0 to 200 and you're looking for a training guide, I've already done that on the channel. Go have a look at the link on the screen now if you need those levels. Otherwise, we're going to get straight into it. Starting off with our level 200 to 210 area, which is Hidden Lakeshore. This is in the Vanishing Journey, which is the first area on the Arcane River. This is the best map in Vanishing Journey in terms of mob count and EXP per mob. It's an 80 Arcane Forest map, and the mobs are level 209. So if you are just a fresh account or you're a new player, you may struggle to one-hit here. There are alternatives that you can go to, like Below the Cave or Eastern Cave Path 2, which have slightly lower mob level at 207. And 60 Arcane Force instead. But even if you're not full clearing this map is by far the best one in the area in terms of EXP. Like, it's not even close, it's such a good map. But I would really recommend Hidden Lakeshore if you can kill here. Once you get to level 210, you unlock Choo Choo, which is the second area of the Arcane River. And in that respect, I'm going to recommend our second map, which is Mottled Forest 2. I did all of my level 210 boss mules here. It's an absolutely fantastic map. Real easy rotation as well. You just put a summon on the top right side to clear those two platforms, and then just do an L shape along the bottom and then the upper left side of the map, and you just rotate that way. Really, really easy map. The monsters are level 210, and the arcane requirement is 100 arcane force, but you should be able to get that easily with two symbols. And the cap per hour, so the total mob kills, if you full clear every time, is 15.7k. And this is a really good map, really works for so many different classes. And because of Urda Fountain, having a summon on every class just makes a lot of rotations a lot easier now. Some classes couldn't full clear this, well, they used to not be able to, just purely because they didn't have a summon, and the rotation was just so awkward. But because of Urda Fountain, it just makes it so much easier on so many different classes. Once you get to 220, we're going to unlock Latchlin. I always say Latch. And we're going to go to Chicken Festival 3. This is the best map in Latch, especially since totems are gone. A lot of the old meta, when totems were around, people said Rev. But now literally every other map in all of Latchlin is better than Rev. But Chicken Festival 3 is the best. Some alternatives would be like Occupied Dance Floor 2 or Victory Plates. They're good maps. The spawn on this map, the way it works, is a lot on the upper side of the map. So you see I've written in the miscellaneous, I've written spawn top-sided. So a lot of the mobs are spawning in that top area. So you just put summons up there, and you can use the hidden portal to move around easier if you do struggle with that. It's a nice, easy map. There's two different mob types here. So there's around 740k EXP per mob, and they're level 221 and 222 respectively. But this is a really good map, especially in terms of rate. This map is cracked. Really, really good. Once you get to 230, we are going to do a map in Arcana where you can do. There are other options as well. If you're going to do this map, I would do it from 230 to 235. And this is if, say, Shadowdance Hall 2 or Chicken Festival are full and you have access to this area. Because Arcana, to be honest, is kind of bad with no totems. The total spawn counts in a lot of the maps just don't really match any of the upcoming areas. But it's a nice easy rotation here. You just rope lift up and down. You do a big U-shape rotation with summons as well. It's nice and easy. A lot of classes can sort of excel in Arcana. The maps really work for them. But the issue is the mob count. It just really doesn't match an area like Morass, for example. Shadowdance Hall 2, really, really good map. You can stay here all the way up until 245 if you really want to. It's farming familiars because it's one mob type. It's a nice, easy map. But I love this map. This map is so, so good. You can also get the similar amount of rates from Shadowdance Hall 3 or the abandoned area maps, but the abandoned area maps can be really awkward for a lot of classes, so I didn't include that here. This is a 480 Arcane Force map. So in comparison to the previous ones, the Arcane Force really starts to ramp up from this point. And they are level 239. So if you're in full drop gear, if it's weak or not very, or you're kind of a weaker grinding class, you are going to sort of start to struggle one-hitting here. So you either slow down your process, or you grind in more damage gear, or you use alternative maps. But at that point, I would say look in your class discords or get advice from your guilds to sort of see what works for you. After that, we have, this is a Celas map. We skip Asphera, because Asphera with no totems is kind of bad. You can do the Radiant Temple maps. They've got a lot of mob count, but Celas is just better. So what I do is stay in Shadowdance Hall until Celas, and then go here for some EXP. But Celas is really nice. The main thing is it's now a 600 Arcane Force map, but it's massive, great spawn, really, really nice map, but there's no familiars. So you are literally coming here purely for EXP. If you still want to grind fams, don't come here. You stay in Shadowdance Hall until 245, instead of coming to Celas. But Celas is a really, really good map. I really, really like Celas. The music in Celas is really good as well. After Celas, we're going to look at Last Horizon 6. This is probably one of the best maps in the game for a lot of classes. Really, really great spawn right here. I personally think it's too big. I kind of struggle in this map just because I don't really know the rotation very well. But for a lot of classes with a lot of summons, like Bishop, for example, they can really excel here. Stay here all the way until 260 if you really want to. Really, really good map. It is 2 mob types, so for familiar grinding, you are going to get 2 different sets of fams, which can sort of slow down the progress of making epics and uniques in that respect. But to be honest, the EXP is worth the trade-off in my opinion. It's a really, really good map. Following from there, with this after Moonbridge, we have Labyrinth. This is Suffering Core 6, not Deep Core 6. Don't get them confused. They are basically the same name. But this is a really, really good map as well. 1 mob type. It's a 790 Arcane Force area. So this is where it sort of starts to ramp up a bit. But this map's really easy. You put a summon in the middle on the top platform and then just kill in a reverse L shape. Real easy to locomote on this map and sort of get decent rates. You're going to be looking at about 16k for most classes. Classes like Corsair are going to be able to hit that 16.6. But the majority of like your average class is going to be at that 16k area pretty easily. Following from Labby, we're going to have a look at Lamina. Now this is the 1.9 map, which used to be known as 1.7, but with Savior they have changed the names of a few of them and added a couple new maps. But the 1.9 is, or 1.7, is still really good. It's a 1000 Arcane Force map, so it is really, like, if you are pushing fast, you are going to struggle to one-hit in this map because of the Arcane Force. But you know, what can you do? It's 16.1k mob count as well, so it's really good. You can farm for familiars here as well, and it's 1 mob type, so that'd be nice and quick as well. To be honest, if you want to skip Grandis and you're sack gated and you want to farm fams, you can do this map all the way until like 275 if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend that, because my personal like take is that you should get to 275 as fast as you can to start on Odium dailies. But a lot of people do want to go for that fam method instead, which, you know, I don't blame them. Like, you can do what you want. After Lamina, we are then going to start getting into the Grandis maps. This first one is going to be Western Cernium Ramparts Free. It's a 50 sack map with an 18.1k cap capacity. This is a really, really good map. This is the sort of generic grinding map in Cernium. There are a lot of other options like Library 4, Library 6, East Free. A lot of classes will excel in different places, but this is a sort of general map for all classes. If you are sort of struggling to pull decent rates in this map, I'd say test it first, see what you can. But if you aren't able to sort of upkeep with that 18, like let's say 15, 16, 17 per hour, I'd say maybe look at your class Discord for a more specialized map for your class. Or Library 4 is a much easier rotation that almost every class can excel in. Or if you're struggling to one-hit, you can go to the Rocky Outlook areas. They are 260 instead of 261. Still 50 sack, but you might be able to do more damage if you're closer in mob level. And yeah, once you get to 265, you unlock Burning Cernium. You most likely won't be going here at 265 because you won't have the Sacred requirement, which is 100. Most people are probably going to hit 275 in Cernium. At least that's what I did. But this map is really, really good. Again, it's a generic sort of all-class map. It's got a great mob count. It's a huge map, so you're going to need either some summons or some big FMA coverage. But it's a really good map. Again, that 100 Sacred is probably going to be a barrier for the majority of people. So if you are pushing levels fast, you are probably going to get sack gated quite heavily. And that is kind of going to be an issue until New Age, I believe. But there are a lot of Sacred selectors in the shop. There's 100. We get 80 from the Wongstron Pass if you buy the double up for 40k Maple points. So that's 180 symbols just from this event alone. And there'll be more in the future for sure, so keep your eye out for that. And then we have Arcus. This is a 130 Sacred area, so not that much more of an increase, especially when you get the second symbol from Arcus. You'll be able to get that little bit of power gain. But you probably won't be coming here until you're 275, and you've been there for like maybe a week or so. I did my 275 to 280 in this map before I started doing the train maps and the theater maps, just because I didn't have the Sacred Power and I wanted to grind in Meso drop gear, which is a big thing for me. But this is a really fantastic map. It's very free to clear. You just put down a summon on the left side and then you just kind of locomote around the whole rest of the right side of the map. And just sort of clear as you go. Classes with multiple summons can really excel here. Things like Bishop as well. There's lots of, like Corsair would probably do great in this map as well, I wouldn't know. I imagine Canna as well. But my Dawn Warrior did fantastic here. Again, your capacity is about 18k. The majority of classes probably won't get 18k. It's quite hard to full clear. But you want to be looking for 16, 17, especially if you're in damage gear. To sort of get that capacity. Really good map. I love Waste 4. Waste 4 is really good. Train 4, I've also started training in recently. Train 4 is pretty good. And then our final one, and this one, most people this won't even apply to. Like, I can't even grind here yet, and I'm 280. But if you are in Odium, Gate 4 is the highest mob count map in Odium, I believe. The second being Sunny Laboratory Free. But that's like a 280 like Sacred map or something. Gate 4 is 230, so it's much more realistic for your average player. And this is sort of before New Age. This is the best map in the game. After New Age, this is all going to change, and I'm going to have to remake a video KW. But for now, this is sort of the best map for rates. And that's the Ribbit. If your sack is higher, you can go to the alleyway maps, which you'll probably get some better rates from. But for just sort of a generic guide, this will be your sort of cookie cutter, applies to everyone kind of area. Nicey. Well, that is my sort of nice, quick, generic 200 to 275 video. I could do like a more in-depth thing, but that would require going into specific maps for specific classes. And at that point, I may as well just make a training guide for every single class in the game, which, you know, it's probably not feasible. It's much more easier to just hit everyone with a blanket sort of guide that applies to everyone. And if you do need more specific advice, I beg you, go to your class Discord, because they all have sort of training guide areas and outlines and FAQs. Or ask your guildmates, because they may play the same class as you, and they may know good areas for you. But yeah, that's sort of that. I'm gonna go grind. And I'll see you another time. Thank you very much. You know, you're a pog. Stay pog.